Hey, welcome to another edition of Dev Show and Tell. I'm one of the contributors here. My name is John. I've got Jackie and Pavlos with me. Jackie, why don't you say hi?
Hello.
And Pavlos, why don't you say hi?
Hello, hello.
Hey, we all said hi. Um,
Congrats.
so the idea of these live streams is to have a low bar for entry, first of all, but to share with ourselves, with each other, and with the world things that we are working on. Um, they can be everything from maybe some work that you're doing at work that you can share and talk about, or maybe a side project you're working on, or maybe something not even code related. It doesn't matter. What's important is that we get in the habit of sharing things, because you never know when what you're working on will connect with what someone else is working on. So, um, one thing I'd like to do at the beginning here is get a sense of the size, the t-shirt size of what people have to share. I'll go first and say that I have a small thing that is connected to what we did last time. Jackie, what's your t-shirt size today?
I'm going to say medium.
Medium, nice, I like it. Pavlos, what's your t-shirt size?
I have two that we could talk about, and I feel like both are in between small and medium. Probably small. Probably small.
Okay,
But yeah.
great. Okay, cool. So I thought maybe to get us to dive right in here, I might go first. Last time we met, I was sharing some work I was doing on the Artsy iOS widget because it was hackathon week, and that was top of mind for me. And I made a bunch more progress on that work, and I wanted to show some of what I discovered and learned. So I'm going to press this
Nice.
present button here and hope that Xcode behaves.
Is the
And
hackathon finished now?
the hackathon is finished. And in fact, my
Nice.
work is on main and on its way to the App Store.
Yeah, right.
So let me hide this. All right, so I did a pull request that modernizes the iOS widget. So first I fixed the widget's display issues. And then the next thing was like to do some exploration that was mostly like in service of the demo that I was going to do on the Friday of hackathon week. But then, like sometimes that code's not really appropriate for production, for actually getting on domain. So I sort of used that as a spike. And in true spike fashion, I went back to main, I started over, and I used that as my North Star, so to speak, but I kind of redid it.
Love it.
And a few things I figured out that I thought might be interesting. One of them was that I was complaining about having to call like a certain background method and do some availability checking about this background method. In fact, one of our viewers was suggesting like a view modifier. I kind of realized that I didn't have to be so low level on that view call. This is the thing that they want you to call. They want you to call container background when your iOS extension is on 17 or greater. And I had this way down in like the various views of the various sizes of the widget. And I realized that I could pull that all the way up into the configuration and do my availability checking here. And so this is like the highest part of the stack where I have a view and I'm able to make this view modifier happen. So anyway, this is not a big deal, but just wanted to call out. I'm just noticing our pal Steve Hicks is watching, and that he's teasing me that's why I wanted to go first. It's true. Okay.
Okay.
So this is just like this like availability checking, and I just like wasn't as confident and comfortable with this stuff as I hoped I would be. I've gotten a little more comfortable, and so this is one place where I do an availability check. Another one is in the view layer. So this is the actual view code that draws the full bleed widget. And if you scroll down to the bottom, I do another couple of availability checks. And what's cool is that now these are like new style previews that you get to actually preview the widget. So the configuration all the way down the stack. And this is nice because now I'm seeing my view code in the context of all the configuration, including turning off the like safe area check that they want to do by default. So hopefully this will snap into place. I find these Xcode live previews a little fragile,
Slow.
but when they work great, and you are actually able to like alter this view code and see it pretty close to real time. So for example, there's an Artsy logo here over this woman's eye. If I change this to be 50 by 50, you'll see it. I think it'll show over the stream pretty well. Like it like does it pretty seamlessly. So this is a nice way to work, a nice way to have your feedback loop. Okay, so I've gone through the view modifiers, the previews, and then the one other thing I wanted to share was, so I'm running the simulator, and you can kind of see here in my Xcode window that like I've picked a target, and I've picked a device, and so I'm like running the Artsy app, and the Artsy app exposes an extension, and then iOS will like run that extension code on your simulator. There's actually a different way to do this. So if I stop and then I switch to the Artsy widget extension target, this may have existed, but it was new to me that if I choose it this way, I'm actually able to run this on the simulator, and all the various pieces and parts of the widget ecosystem that your app extension provides will be run, and like all of your Xcode tools, including like print debugging, or here I've got a breakpoint added, all those things are now available in that mode or that style of running the thing where you've picked the extension. I never was able to get this to work, and so I would often be like really frustrated, and like something in here wasn't working, but I had no visibility. Like I couldn't see what wasn't working. I'd have to like uninstall the app from the simulator and like run it again to get the, like the install things. Anyway, so this is great. And I just want to show one more thing. You go into the scheme, edit scheme. So in my Artsy widget extension scheme in the run in arguments, you get widget kit environment, and I can say which widget I want it to install, timeline view, and like which family. So this is great. So like with these things in place, it's now much more humane developer experience to tinker with and make these things better. Anyway, so that's all in the pull request that I was showing here. So we dropped this stupid one because it just doesn't show the artwork's big enough. We honed in on the white text on a black background editorial version and the full bleed version. We provide them at the small size. Editorial gets the medium size, and the full bleed version gets the large size. And then here's some more talk about, like how you do the running of the widget code directly. And that's it. Questions, thoughts, comments. I didn't take too long, did I?
Nice. Is this, I saw a geometry reader thing. Is this your thing, or is this a Swift UI class or something?
Yeah, geometry reader is a Swift UI thing that I'm using to read my parents' width and height, basically, is what this is about.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Nice.
And props for doing the, what's it called? The Boy Scout rule of like leaving the forest better than you found it.
I try. And, I'm being a little selfish here because it's probably going to be me that's going to benefit from this in like 2 years when I come back to working on the widget.
Bi-yearly iterative process.
Yeah.
How did you find all these Xcode like hidden, options and stuff? Were you just like playing around, or did you check online for blogs, or how did you find these things?
It was like literally just reading all the various docs. So if I go to share my screen again, I'll try to be quick. So if I go to Safari and you go like widget kit. All right, so widget kit, like this document entry point. See all of these docs, I would just like keep bouncing around from these different docs whenever I encounter something I didn't understand or I wanted to know more about. If I kind of keep scrolling here towards the end, thought there was like a debug. Yeah, I mean their docs are not always great to use. Oh yeah, debugging widgets. When I hit this doc, this helped me understand, like these environment variables and like which ones I wanted to set and what they controlled. But yeah, it was like a lot of just like reading this over and over, trying to understand how these things all connect. Because like, they're not, I mean, there's like a lot of documents here, but you almost want, and then the other thing I did, Pavlos, was you can make a new widget and you get like, you can like download sample projects and you can kind of see like what Apple tells you to do. So you just sort of like triangulate like the docs, these sample projects, like making a new widget from scratch and try to figure out like what you want to do. But
nice. Good job.
Impressive. Yeah.
Okay, that concludes my show and tell. Jackie, I would like to pass the baton to you.
Sweet.
And hold on, Jack. Steve would like me to know if I have any more. Would like to know if I have any more thoughts about how they make those docs better. I will try to formulate some suggestions. All right, Jackie, go for it.
All right, sweet. Hey guys, I'm gonna present my screen. The classic stuff. Let me know if you don't see anything. But you should see a very detailed slide.
I don't see it quite yet. Let's see. I think I have to add to stage. Got it.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
that was me. I'm still learning how to work with guests.
We're all learning here. So I can't see you guys, just full disclosure, but feel free to jump in anytime. But yeah, you guys mentioned that like it's also a space to share things that are non-work related. So today I'm just kind of doing like, hey, who I am and the things I do in my spare and free time. But I'm Jackie. Come say hi on GitHub. I have a very old, outdated website. You're welcome to come hang. I'm a dev like you guys, and I was trying to look back in our history, and we've been friends since like 2020. And got into some wild kind of shenanigans along the way. John and I dressing up unplanned, but wearing the same outfit on Halloween. And then Pavlos, we've gone to Canada together.
I forgot about that. So
and
good.
I met your mom, your family. And then for Steve, I found this
nice
Rails console we were doing while trying to debug a very urgent thing on production. We like to keep it fun and stress-free. So as you can see from the pics, we're all smiling all the time, such happy devs, living happy dev lives. A little bit more about me, like things that kind of energize me are my precious baby angels. Horses, the Buffalo Bills. I spend most of my time on the Ruby layer at a company where we all kind of had a touch point together, which is Artsy. John and I are still kind of hanging around in that space. Really enjoy learning about how like Rails works underneath the hood. I live legit in the woods, and I am a pro at moving snow from one place to another. Things to not bring up with me. I don't want to hear about the Super Bowl. I don't want to talk to you
not this year.
about
That's
the Super Bowl. I don't want to even think about it.
Football's over this year.
Maybe the Puppy Bowl we can watch, but nothing else. And if the weather's nice by you, please keep it to yourself. But all this to say is like I kind of am a remote engineer and live in a kind of really funky place, which is called Orchard Park. We're kind of by Buffalo, Toronto area, if you know that part of the United States. Birthplace of chicken wings, impressive. So a lot of hot sauce, blue cheese kind of in the culture here. And I'm also in a place that's very famous for lake effect snow, and we're going to talk about that today.
Nice.
So lake effect snow, cool. I'm not originally from this area. TLDR. I'm from a little bit further downstate by New York City. So if you're thinking like, all right, cool, like everybody gets snow in the winter, like who cares? I'm here to tell you that's not true. And I will fight you.
There are levels.
There are levels and thresholds and a scale. I'm actually, this area is very special because we have this like little climate paradigm that happens that produces like ungodly amounts of snow. So yeah, guess who lives kind of downstream of these Great Lakes systems? It's me. And like, here's a picture of like, these bands are so incredibly narrow. They're like very narrow, but like very intense. So like you'll see like people across the street from you might not get any snow, but you get like 3 feet. And it's wild. So just to kind of zoom out a little bit. So we're also friends across the globe. You see here, I'm in New York. You guys are up by the Great Lakes also, but maybe on the western side. Pavlos hanging out. Being on the eastern side of the Great Lakes system is important to the manifestation of lake effect snow. And it kind of makes day-to-day life really hard. Like it's hard to walk your dog. It's just madness. It's hard to find your car. This is my car this year, snowstorm this year, which, you know, this isn't even the worst storm we've had. That's 36 inches in one day. So I think that's about a meter. It's hard to kind of shovel and get out of your house. It's just like hard to kind of do anything besides be a hermit and maybe write code. I don't know. But yeah, we're always in like these states of emergency. You'll see the blue is like where my house is. I'm right by the lakes here. So, you know, today, 1 to 3 feet, have a nice day. So that's kind of like the vibe here. And people are pretty chill about it. So it is super special in that like we have a lot of cold air moving across that like freshwater Great Lakes system. The lakes are a little bit warmer than the air temperature. That kind of creates like, this is also, I love looking at diagrams because it's like wild. It creates, you know, these heavy clouds that get so heavy, they like dump as soon as they kind of hit land. And I'm right on that first set of land that kind of is across. In theory, especially by Lake Erie, this should only last for a little bit because the lake can freeze over. And once the lake is frozen, you don't kind of have this like diff of warm water that kind of condenses into the cloud formations. But the lake has not froze in a long time. So, you know, that's kind of, this seems to be on the rise with like global warming and like, you know, the lake temperature increasing. So what you kind of need is a bunch of fresh water and a bunch of cold air, and then you're ready to roll. And like, again, like being east, you kind of get what these things are called like snow belts. That's like where the water kind of evaporates and then dumps as soon as you like hit the land. And I live right in the New York State snow belt. Pretty cool. I don't know. I've never heard of this term before living here. So exciting stuff. So if you kind of see, again, like I'm on the eastern side of these. I don't know, John, do you usually get, you probably don't get like lake effect snow, but like
we don't get lake
snow?
effect snow. Like, I mean, when I lived in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area, we would talk about lake effect snow. But even then, that's on the wrong side. Kind of like as your diagrams are illustrating, it would need to be on the eastern side to really, I mean, it's all relative, but that's where it's the worst, is kind of what your diagram shows.
Right. Yeah. It's, yeah, interesting. Kind of a dumping ground. And then this is like Artsy headquarters where I used to kind of live over here. Miss it greatly. But yeah, just kind of zooming out. This is like the system we're talking about. Lots of moisture, lots of cold air. My house, yeah, these things are massive and really quite a bit of problems for me.
And
but
I'm guessing
yeah.
none of them is freezing lately?
So Lake Erie.
None of the lakes?
Yeah, I think historically Lake Erie really freezes well, but because it's pretty shallow compared to the other ones. But like as the temperature kind of increases at the water, it hasn't frozen over. But yeah, just like another kind of diagram of like, oh, cool, Alaska, Canada, yay. Oh no. But yeah, like here's like you'll get some ice coverage, like to your question, Pavlos, but I think Lake Erie is like over here somewhere, fully iced.
Okay.
But and that offers some protection, but it's kind of been tricky moving. Yeah, like there is kind of an increase in lake temp, that diff between the air and the temp. There's my poor house. But yeah, here again, like kind of the average water temperature and dumping grounds over time. But yeah, so like it's like no joke, like legit. The biggest snowstorm in my 5 years of living here was in 2022, which we got 77 inches in a day. So that's like, oh my God, I don't even know. What is that in feet? It's probably like 2 meters. So that's probably like almost 6 feet. Check my math.
6 feet, almost 6.5 feet.
Yeah, it was.
That's like
And it's
so
also
much
2
snow.
meters,
Yes.
which is also crazy.
Yeah. It was,
That's the height of like a pretty tall person.
Yeah.
It was literally like trapped in our house for days and like eating stuff out of the freezer because we couldn't leave.
Wow.
But like this year so far, I mean, it snows constantly, guys, Jesus. But so far, the most we've had is what I showed with the car, the 36 inches in one day. And hopefully we'll see how it goes because winter kind of lives on until May around here. And like we're kind of famous and we make it like on the news a lot and like houses that are close, like I'm maybe a mile from the lake, but houses that are right on the lake, kind of with the wind
That's
and
insane.
ice just get blasted. It's
It doesn't even look real. It looks like a joke or like it's like designed.
yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't know how people what would you do in this? I don't know.
Stay inside and eat things out of your freezer?
Yeah, there you go. Just like never leave your house.
I mean, you don't even need the freezer.
Yeah, right. Just put it
Right, yeah.
outside.
But we're a very proud culture. We love the Bills. So no Super Bowl talk. And guys, come for a visit. I would also be down for like trading houses. Like John, I'm looking at you. Maybe we swap for a bit. It's beautiful, but it's really fucked up.
It's a lot of snow. So I have a couple questions. One of them is, like, I find that it's often extremely cold in Minnesota. Like, we've had days this year where the high temperature has not been above 0 Fahrenheit. I don't think it gets quite as cold in Buffalo. Is that true?
That's true. Yeah,
Okay.
we're a little bit warmer than you guys, but I think that cold air coming through like the water
Yeah.
kind of.
You almost like don't need, but because you don't have such a cold temp, does that impact the amount of snowfall? Because I don't know, maybe that's like an old wives' tale, but like warm up to snow is something that I sometimes hear people talk about.
Oh, this is fascinating. So there's like a low end to this, like where it's too extreme.
I don't know if that's true. It
I
can't
mean,
be.
I hope we get
science
there.
would tell me no, that's not true. My other question was, so my sister lives in the Denver area, and she will talk about pretty big snowstorms come through, but then like by the next day it's kind of all melted.
Yes.
My guess is that it's not all melted in Buffalo. That
No.
it just gotta keep stacking up.
It builds. Yeah, we probably have like, I'm just looking out the window, maybe like 2 feet of snow on the ground right now. And yeah, it's ever present.
So in one 24-hour period, you might get X amount of snow, but you may have had snow before, and you will probably have snow afterwards.
Yep. It kind of, it's always around. I've heard like my
Wow.
neighbor who's from here, like they had a storm where they had to jump out from their second story window to get out.
God.
Like it's just like really intense.
But did he jump like 2 feet down or something, or like 2 inches down to like the snow, right? It's like a snow angel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a wild
I
place.
also have questions, but I'll wait for afterwards.
Go for it. I think I'm all done. Let me try to
Oh yeah,
stop.
okay, okay. Well, I'll start from the silly ones, right, and then go to the more important ones. The photo you showed with the door open and
Yes.
the snow, like, okay, I get that this is like a funny photo, but like, do you close the door and then like a snow leaks? Like, how does that work? Or does snow not melt all the way at the bottom?
Like from heat and stuff?
Yeah, because like it's your house. I'm sure it's not that cold in people's houses, right? So like, what happens to the snow that touches there, or does it, like, if you have glass, does it get icy instead of snowy or something?
Good question. Good question. I've not personally had the big wall on my front door, but it's like, so you have to.
Depends on how energy efficient your home is.
I guess that's true. Yeah. Get like a nice Pella door or something. But yeah,
Well,
it's
okay,
it's wild.
interesting. Okay, and then I have another question. How much snow can you like walk on? Like, if you have like 10 inches of snow, I'm sure you can like walk. If you have like 77, probably you can't walk on it, right?
Yeah.
Or can you? I have no idea. I've never seen that much like snow.
I have snowshoes, so that kind of helps.
Okay.
Because like I have to walk to like get to my mailbox and stuff, so those I use with spikes. But like I didn't show, but I have I have a rig, which is a big machine with like a 4-foot wide snow plow on it. It's like a ride-on machine. So you have to like it's coming down at like 2 to 3 inches per hour sometimes. So you have to be out there every like chunk of minutes to like start shaving away like a few inches at a time. Because if you let it build up, you're toast.
Is that machine that you're describing pushing the snow or like shooting the snow out of a...
Shooting it.
Okay.
So it's a John Deere.
Nice.
Great company, great American company. Props. But yeah, it's like a snow thrower on it, and it has like a 50-foot like throwing distance. It's So I just kind of like blasted into the woods and just to clear a path. But it takes up a lot of personal time. So all I do is work and then move snow around. So that's my hobby.
And then I have one last question for you. And is it, when did you move there? And like, why specifically there? I mean, like, seems like you enjoy snow, but like up to a point. So like, where in the, in the like criteria is this?
Well, I mean, the summers are mwah.
You got a big piece of property? That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. I was kind of looking downstate a bit, but like was interested in land. Real estate's a little bit cheaper here. I don't know why. But it's a little bit more spaced out, and like we got the dogs, so they enjoy it. And I guess it was right before pandemic, so like 2019, I think we bought it.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, come for a visit.
I should. I mean, I definitely enjoy watching the stories you put every second day or something with like the deer and just like all the nature behind your house, basically. That's
always
cool.
live streaming snow events, so come hang on Instagram. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. I'll kick it over to you, Pavlos. Hopefully that wasn't too much time.
No, that was great.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so yeah, after this, I mean, my thing is gonna be the most useless, complaining, first person, no, first world problem thing. But
It's
I mean,
all relative. You can't compare.
exactly. Okay, maybe I'll ask both of you for like what to show. I have one thing that I made a little Raycast extension because I was kind of inspired from what John and Steve were doing last time, and I had the need for a specific thing. And that's done, that's finished, I use it. And then I have another thing that's like for my dot files, but it's not finished yet. It's like an idea slash, brainstorming slash trying stuff. Do we have a preference?
I want to see the extension.
All right.
And maybe you can do like a couple minutes on what Raycast is just to remind folks that don't use it or know
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me share my screen, I guess, and I can go to the website as well. But yeah, basically Raycast is a little Raycast. Well, not a little. It's an application that is replacing Spotlight on Mac. So basically, I don't know if they have a good example here. Yeah, it's like this thing. So if I hit Command and space, you can see my own thing here, which is, I can just type stuff here and find files or like install something from here, find the latest Git to install. Or, I have an extension that's like kill the process because the simulator always crashes. So, I have this here. So it's just like a bunch of nice helpers and shortcuts to things. And also, it is an app launcher, I guess. Like that's kind of the main thing, right? So yeah, that's Raycast. And then, like, if you have watched the other videos on this channel, there's extensions here, and you can make your own. And it's basically just a JavaScript thing. So every now and then I needed to, I guess this is the extension, which right now only has this one specific thing, which is to translate Greeklish to Greek.
What?
So Greeklish, if you guys don't know, it's like writing Greek but in English letters, in like Latin, because Greek has the Greek alphabet,
Got
right?
it.
But because a bunch of people, me included, are like bored to type, or like to swap the keyboard, and also we have accents, so we have like little, like I can say, Kalimera, which is good morning, right? But like you can also type it in Greek, like this, Kalimera. But the correct way would be Kalimera, like this. So like you have a little, thingy.
There's
so,
like levels of
annoyance and correctness. So it's the most correct, less correct, least correct, but like super easy, less easy, annoying for me. So I was, having to do some emailing and stuff like that every now and then in Greek. I was like, I need to do this more easily. So I figured out that apparently if you drop this style of Greek without the accents to ChatGPT and tell it to, make it Greek, it will also add the correct accents. And then if you start with the Greeklish, it will also do the right thing. So basically, I just did that, and if I open up a thing here and I don't know, type. Oh wait, I'm in Greek and Vim doesn't work with Greek. Another problem. So I can go here and say, I don't know, Kalimera ya apo John ke Zaki. Whoops. Zaki, which is hello from Zaki and John. And then I can select the thing and then hit the command space, which opens up in the other thing. But if I just do Greeklish to Greek, it will take whatever is selected and then throw it. It goes on my other screen again. It throws it on the API of ChatGPT, and then immediately returns the Greek thing. And then also I can hit enter for copying, or I think it's command enter to also just paste it directly there.
Look at that.
So yeah, if I do this, let's do this one more time. But like now it will be on my other screen, but basically I don't need to touch my my mouse. And what I'm trying to show is that if I hit command enter directly, it will also replace this. Oh, it doesn't work over here. I guess Vim is messing it up. Anyway, in the email applications, it does work. So yeah, that's kind of the thing.
Because you probably have to like exit insert mode, and then you're like,
yeah, it's probably some weird thing. Yeah, like if I do it like this and then do Greeklish, and then hit. Yeah, so you see, it's kind of doing weird things with Vim. But I mean, I don't use it in Vim, so whatever.
Right.
It's fine. Yeah, so basically, I can show you a little bit of the code, and then the main thing here is again that I added it somewhere over here. Yeah, there we go. And then yeah, I made a thing that you just add your key, so it's I guess reusable. So I didn't do this all the way from zero. I checked on Raycast's GitHub. What is this? I don't know. It's 10 times less useful to you guys. So
right, I suppose.
So yeah, Raycast has a repo with a bunch of extensions that they make. And they have one that's for OpenAI, ChatGPT, blah, blah. And they have like a translation and summarize and a couple others. So I just took one of those because you couldn't customize them completely. And then I just copied over the code, made some changes, blah, blah.
Got it. So you didn't start with a blank piece of paper. You started with like, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, there's a simple API file which this exists already, and then you start it. This is kind of the result view, which I guess you guys messed around with the extension, and over here you kind of have this detail and the metadata and that kind of stuff. So the metadata is like. If we go back to here,
like underneath Raycast extensions are this React-like components that you can kind of use to build out the UI that you see.
Yeah, exactly. And then the metadata comes like on the side here, which kind of roughly calculates the cost of its call, which is, why not? And then basically, just going around, like this, nothing special. And I think the main thing is here, and this is the basic, basically the prompt. So for its request, you give it the prompt, and then you also give it the context. So I guess if we go back to the result view, and we can see specifically where the prompt is used. This is kind of how you call to OpenAI ChatGPT like API. So you select the model, and then you say the system, which is like the app. It says translate the following, and then the user is kind of like the input that you get or that you give, and it's the selected text. And basically that's all of it.
Nice. So just to be clear, this is like making an HTTP call. Like this requires an internet connection to do this.
Yes, it is. So I did think of trying to do it with Olama and like local AI models and stuff. But unfortunately, they were not as successful in translating. And I did have some examples, which, I mean, if you don't know Greek, you can see how wrong they are, but like they were very wrong. So I guess, ChatGPT running in some like huge server is probably better than like one PC somewhere.
Got it.
But yeah, it's possible if it's something like not for translation or whatever. that could totally be a thing. Yeah,
Cool. That's sweet.
That's awesome.
that's it.
I couldn't help but notice your commit history. One was called Batman. What's going on in there?
You haven't watched the previous episode. Yeah, I don't remember. I stole this from somewhere. I don't remember where this was, but the idea is that the first commit is Batman because it has no parents.
Oh boy.
Dark joke that I
It's a little
enjoyed
dark,
lot.
Jackie.
I thought it was something cool.
Nope.
I don't know. It used to be, like in it or something. So this felt funny.
Ah.
So.
Okay. I'm going to go.
There you go. Yeah.
Can you go
that's all of
back?
it.
So I have never built an extension that needs another that like depends on a package. So I suppose you have like in your package JSON like dependencies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
guess
you
so.
get the dependencies, and that's the one, and then this for like calculation, and then here it's basically the same thing as you did with Steve for
Right.
configuring the actual extension. But alongside those dependencies live, and also dev dependencies. So you can have like TypeScript and a bunch of stuff like prettier, and then also preferences, which is the where you put the API key in the like preferences. I guess I should be putting these above the dependencies so they're like located nicely. But yeah,
Yeah. I
you
mean,
can have dependencies.
that's package JSON stuff. So another thing that I've pondered, and I wonder if you've pondered as well. Like, do you have like CI set up? Do you have like tests? Did you think about?
No,
Yeah,
no
me either.
tests and no CI. So the idea with this is that while I was testing it, obviously I was running it locally, and now that I have it on my computer, like running normally, I just build it once. So in the packagization here, I have the dev and the build. So if I do any change, I will just run the build, and then this automatically reloads in Raycast, and I don't have to touch it again. So if I remove the repo from my local machine,
You would
it's not
remove the
going to
extension.
work.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean the inconvenience of that is smaller than the inconvenience of running or setting up a whole CI for like these tiny packets, If more people were using this, or if I had a billion more extensions in here, blah blah blah, I would probably do this. But yeah,
Oh, heck yeah. Maybe a plug to get people to download this puppy. Let's go.
yeah. I mean it's open source. You can put your own key. It
Nice.
works.
Did
And
you
then you have
investigate
your
getting
name.
it in the Raycast like extension store?
Trying to fix my camera here. I did, and actually, let's see, Raycast, GitHub. Or maybe it's this. I tried at some point just to see what it has, because they do give you this publish default script. And I think it just automatically made a PR or something in here.
Whoa.
And I immediately closed it because I was like, yeah, this is not
Oh,
this is not this is not ready for production.
that's awesome.
I have no idea. Oh no, wait, is it this? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Yeah, there
So I
you go.
just hit. And I had another one. What the hell? Where's 2022? Wow. Cool.
Wow.
But yeah, just created this automatically when I run publish. I was like, yeah, no, CI started running or whatever, and I was like,
Wow.
okay, this is just for me. But I guess it's pretty easy to do this. So if I did want to publish it, it's pretty easy to do. And then it's up to them, I guess, to accept it or not accept it. I don't know.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
cool.
and that's my extension.
Hey. Go download.
Yeah, go download.
High five, yeah.
My camera today just doesn't want to focus on me anymore.
No.
Anyway.
Can't do it today.
There's all this snow behind me or something.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
So you mentioned some dot files tinkering.
Yeah. Do you want to look at that a little bit?
Yeah. How do you manage your dot files?
I would ask you guys first, and then I'll tell you.
Oh,
I use RCM.
RCM. Okay, that sounds for really cool or something.
Oh man.
have
Let
no
me
idea.
present. It's been a
Yeah.
little while since I've shown someone this, but so if I go to Safari and github.com/JohnAlierad/dot-files. So my dot files use RCM, and this is from Thoughtbot, and RCM is an actual brew install. That's of course how I get it. It's an
Okay.
RC file manager. I don't even know what the RC stands for exactly, other than like sometimes those files are called RC files.
All
But
right.
it has like an up and a down, a link, a couple different commands, RC. And then, so like I basically assume that RCM is installed on a system, and then like what's in here is all based on that like assumption or something like that. So
Okay.
in the RCM folder, then are actually all the dot files. So you know my git config and my vimrc, zshellrc, those things. Is this kind of what you were asking?
Yeah. And then when you do this like up or down, is the thing where it uploads or like diffs with your
It's basically
current
sim
dots or
linking.
what?
It's like
Okay,
it's
okay,
like it's like looking
I see.
for and connecting the files via symlinks. Yeah.
I see. Okay, cool. Jackie, do you have something similar or?
you guys go
Usually-
ahead. I have some dogs over here.
Oh God. Sorry, I need to stop screen. Okay.
Okay, I can show. Okay, so my main thing. Oh my God, why can't we focus over here? Yes, hello. Anyway, so my main thing is that I didn't want to have symlinks for my dot files because I've had weird issues in the past with some things. So most of the console or like CLI tools work great with symlinks, but this doesn't translate to like desktop apps. So if you wanted to, let's say, have your I don't know, your Dropbox or like your VS Code or a bunch of other things. I guess VS Code would work, but there's a bunch of applications that have, they don't have RC files. They have files in your user/library,
Sure.
which is sometimes
The
like
configuration
binary
files do not live in your home directory with a dot.
Exactly. So this gets a little bit funky with those and symlinks, and sometimes they just overwrite them or they just like behave weirdly or whatever. So I thought, okay, let's just skip all the component or all the dot file managers that do this basically. And then I found one that's called a Mac app. Well, let me share my screen actually. It's this one. So this, I used it at some point, and this is basically like it was using Dropbox as the syncing method, and Mac-App would basically be the app or the tool that would just move your files to the sync solution or whatever, to Dropbox basically. Unfortunately, this doesn't work anymore. In the last 3 or 4 macOS releases, it stopped working. I don't know exactly why. And this did symlinks by default, but there was an option. So you had like, I don't know. It had some configuration where you could tell it to just copy things over and keep them as just a copy. So that automatically makes it a little bit more of a hassle when you manage them, because now you have 2 things, and then you have to like keep them in sync yourself. So you have to, if I add something in my like Z shell, RC or whatever, I have to remember to back it up and then run the thing and throw it in Dropbox or whatever. But the nice thing about this was that it supported a bunch of those things. So it was mostly for desktop apps. And yeah, it's just a bunch of them. So the way they did this was, if I scroll all the way up, they have a folder with a bunch of configurations. So if we go in here and let's say, aerospace, we were talking last time about that. It has like a name, and then this is the RC file, right? But if we go to, let's say, some desktop things, yeah, it gives you this like library application support, which is a little bit more complicated than just an RC file. But it's a really nice idea, and then you can obviously just combine a bunch of those. So, I like that, and then I couldn't use it anymore. And then later I found out about this, I don't know how to pronounce it, it's like French for my house or my bag or something, like chez moi or something, I have no idea.
That sounds great.
And this does something similar without the sim linking. So the idea is, probably they have a little explainer here. Well, actually, it's probably easier if I just show you. So this is my repo where it's not the current one, it's just a mess, but like inside this, let's say folder number 2, which is my second try of this tool lately, this is how it stores it. It renames everything to like __ something. Okay. And then if it's private, it also keeps that as the name. So like when you save them or when you restore them, it knows to put the right like access, I don't know what this is called, like this octal number, right? For like read, write, and execute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. So it kind of keeps these as well. And then inside here, it's just like regular stuff. So my thought was, what if I combine these two tools, and then I can run one command and then just have everything backed up. So I thought, because this tool, when you use this, you need to do the whole thing manually. So if I go over here and it tells you like how to start, yeah. It tells you, okay, you do this to add a new file, and then you can edit it in there, or you can see the diff with your actual file. It's just a bunch of commands that I don't remember and I don't care for. What I want to do is, like, if I add this, bus RC file once, then I want to run, like, update my .files, and then it will know to find the same files and just replace them, instead of me having to remember which one in order to not miss one. So I started this called Matt says, I have no idea. I tried to combine the two names. And I basically started with just porting over some configuration. So like, for example, this one, and it's just a JSON file, and I just took, the one from over here. I don't have to find it now, but you trust me that it's basically that. And then I have a unique ID, and then the pretty name, and then the home path for this. Or like if I go over here, you have the config path, and I think everything is, this is also here. And then Xcode, has like that kind of style of paths. So my thinking is, I'll just move over a bunch of those. Probably not all of them, but I'll start with the ones I use. And then I'll have a script like, or not a script, a file like this somewhere in my home folder, which I'll describe the ones that I want to back up. So like if I write 8stop here, this app or tool will know to go in the configuration of 8stop, and then it will say, okay, do you have this? If yes, back it up. If not, cool. Do you have this? If yes, back it up. If not, cool. And then I'll just run one thing, which I don't even remember where this was. Yeah, this, which, I mean, it's not finished, but the idea is that, you'll just look through this TXT file, and then if you have it backed up, it will, or if you have the file, it will back it up. And that's it. That's the idea. Then I can, normally this tool, this share moi, creates a Git folder, but somewhere hidden within like your USR local something, right? So it doesn't mess up your actual home folder. So yeah, my plan is to just reuse that. So, I'll run sync with my tool. It will look at my TXT file and get my actual files, put it in that Git repo, and then I can go there and just push, and it's done. And I don't have to think about this anymore. That's the super complicated way to solve this for me, because I have weird restrictions for my for my dot files, I guess. I don't know. Thoughts, questions, swear words.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, make it work for you. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what? I'm not sure I'm really following your restrictions and why you have to have such a complicated setup.
So the main restriction is the symlink. The fact that like when using markup or the backup markup thing, it was doing symlinks by default, and that messed up some of the things. Because so like in this library folder, this application support, blah blah blah. Some of them are binary files. So when well, not Xcode, but like some random app would try and update this or read this or whatever, it would just fail completely, and either the app would break and just tell me, oh, your config is broken, just like
Sure.
restart or uninstall, install, or it would just like replace whatever I had. So I had these like weird edge cases where it's not the right thing to do, and I get that these applications are basically at fault, right, for doing the wrong thing with the symlink. But I mean, if I have to use these apps, then what can I do, right?
So is the solution to copy it to keep it in sync with another file location on your system?
Yeah. So that's what I decided on. This tool is just basically taking the dot file or this binary file or whatever, and just keeps a copy somewhere else. And then that can be the Git repo that I have in my GitHub, blah, blah, blah. And then bring that back on a new computer to just put it in the right place. So it allows for this, for those two files to drift apart. But when I don't care about this, that's fine. So like one case I had was that some Xcode files, and I don't remember which ones, I were changing very often, and it was just changes that I didn't care, because like it was just moving things around in a list, right? So it didn't affect the actual configuration, but like there were some other places where I did need that thing. So having markup or any other thing try to go against this random ordering that some files wanted to have would cause other issues again. So by copying it over and then just taking the diff and be like, okay, this I care and this I don't care about, kind of removes that whole bunch of problems.
I will note that Artsy does have a flag called -c that will copy it instead of symlinking. So I'm just pointing out that there are ways.
I will check that.
And Steve is saying a couple things here, that he's been using RCM, kind of gave it up or gave up on both, and that he's not a fan of the API. I agree that the commands are very cryptic. I just don't use them very much. Like once I've got my setup routine, like I follow that strictly, and then I try to never do anything else with it. But anyway.
That makes sense. Yeah, I will definitely check the RCM. I don't think I've tried this. So yeah, but I did have at some point try to have like a Git like a bare Git repo. I don't know if you've tried that and add this in my whole home folder, and then
I've
just
seen
like
people do that.
yeah, but it was just a mess. Everything was slow. Everything was breaking. So like okay, too much.
So we're right at time. I'm going to call it there. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out and sharing and telling. And we did it, and we'll see everyone again next time.
Woo-hoo. Nice to see you guys.
See ya.
Ciao.